Are you ready for a Silversea cruise experience? Join us for this episode of Just the Facts. Hi, Larry. Welcome back to Just the Facts on RTE-Travel Talk.
Hi, Ken. It's great to be back with you.
Great to have you with us.
Thanks.
So, Larry, we all know that in the cruise world, there is these mega companies that own several different cruise lines. Now, for example, last week we talked about Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, and they're owned by the Royal Caribbean Group. But there's another cruise line owned by the Royal Caribbean Group that's just kind of new to them, although they've been around for quite a while, and that's Silversea Cruises. Silversea happens to be one of my favorite cruise lines. So I thought today you and I could explore a little bit about Silversea and talk about how they fit into the world of cruising.
And to start with, Ken, I think we should address the concerns that some longtime Silversea passengers, cruisers, and it's almost like a club, have about Royal Caribbean's relationship with Silversea. Is Silversea going to become Royal Caribbeanized? Is the quality going to drop? The major benefit that Silversea obtained from their acquisition by Royal Caribbean is capital, and they were able to build a new ship, the Silver Nova, that was just launched this summer, and they've got another ship coming out next year. They did not have the access to capital markets to be able to build two new ships,
Right.
Because ships now are in the neighborhood of $1 billion a piece. So that was the big pickup that Silversea got from the merger. As you and I have discussed, we haven't been apprised of any decline in the service level or the offerings that Silversea has.
Well, that's a really good point, because the loyalty club that they have, their past cruisers, are an extremely large market, and over the years they've always catered to them. So I can see why people would be concerned.
Yeah, I remember back when we first started in business, Silversea had 3 ships, the largest of which was 160 passengers. Well, then they announced they were going to build this huge mega ship with 600 passengers. Well, the Silversea folks went crazy. How can you build such a big ship?
Yeah.
And oh boy, this is going to ruin the cruise line. And so, it very much is a style of cruising that has a dedicated following.
And speaking of fleet size, like as you mentioned, they started out with like 3 ships. I think they're now up to about 13, including their expedition ships. Obviously, the expedition ships are 100 to 150 passengers, but then you go from 200, but 300 to all the way up to 728 on their newest ships. So I can see why people would be concerned for the long-time cruisers.
Well, the other point about the size of the ship is the crew ratio, and it's not quite 1-to-1. It's a little bit less than that. But the big concern that the old-time Silversea folks had was, are we going to have the same crew ratio?
Yeah.
I had this joke about Silversea: when you drop a napkin in the main dining room, 3 people reach down to pick it up, 3 staff members. So that's the kind of the feeling you have when you're on board the ship.
Yeah. I sailed with them in December on the Shadow, and I'm here to tell you that the service was just amazing, and just the experience that you talk about. You drop a napkin and 3 people are there to pick it up. What I did notice is the crew actually spent a lot of time seeking out passengers to actually sit and talk with them. Like, First of all, I don't know how they find the time, but you would see that a lot. It was a really, really great experience.
And that's one thing, Ken. The other thing, and I've always struggled to find, people ask me, what's the difference? And I say, well, it's the service. Well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And I guess what I mean is it's anticipatory. They try to anticipate what you're going to want instead of you finding out you need something and asking them. And it's that attitude of, we want to make sure that that you have a great experience. I mean, it's that attitude. I think this the service difference.
No, absolutely. One thing that's always been a mark of their excellence is their inclusivity. You can get on a Silversea cruise and you're not going to have a bill at the end of it. Everything is included: shore excursions, tips, the whole 9 yards.
That's what I love about the and that's not for everybody. So, but just to be clear, they have a pricing called door to door. And I love this because I tell people they're going to pick you up at your front door, assuming you live within 50 miles of a major airport, in a black lane limousine, and they're going to bring you back to that same front door in a black lane limousine, and you're not going to have to reach in your wallet for anything additional during that whole time frame that you're gone. And to me, that really appeals to me because I know exactly what my vacation is going to cost. I can budget it, and I don't have to worry about, all these add-ons and things like that. That really appeals to me.
And the big thing about that, Larry, is you go on vacation, right? Well, you want to not have to worry about things, and it takes the stress out.
That's right. You
You
want to
don't
turn
have to
off
worry
your
about
mind.
how am I getting to the airport? How am I
Right.
getting to the ship? From the minute you step outside your door, you put yourself in the hands of Silversea.
And I always say what you want to do on vacation is you want to step out the door and disengage your mind, and then you don't have to engage it again until you
Yeah.
get back. That's part of being on vacation.
Yeah. What you mentioned, Larry, the door to door is great. You also have what they call the port to port, where you get essentially the same thing, and just you don't get the transfers or the airfare. Yeah.
Yeah, which is another important thing. A lot of people now are more particular about booking their own airfare. They want to get their own seats. They want to
Yeah.
they have their particular airline, their class
Yeah.
of seating and things like that. So
No,
the
exactly.
the port to port works really well because everything's included, including the shore excursions. It's just basically not the airport transfers
Yeah.
or the airlines. That's the major thing between. So we have door to door and port to port.
Now, to confuse the issue even further, I think they've now come out just recently with a new level of pricing. What's that all about?
Another level is called essential, and that includes basically the shipboard experience. Everything's all included: gratuities, specialty dining, alcohol, drinks, all that sort of thing are included. A butler. All the cabins are suites. Most 90% of them have balconies. All of that's included. But that's it. The shore excursions are not. The air is not included. The airport transfers are not included. So, and the difference between the pricing between the door to door, just on one cruise we looked at, is about a 30% differential. So we're seeing more and more people that are wanting to craft their own excursions. And so that's really where this essential comes in. It could be a very popular fare on Silversea.
Interesting.
For folks that want to do their own air, want to craft their own shore excursions, the pricing comes out to about what it would be on a celebrity suite. Don't assume that Silversea is going to be out of your pocketbook. Talk to a travel advisor and look at the options.
No, exactly. I always like to say, like you and I both know that cruising has changed in the last 20 years. The experience that you had on board, like a celebrity cruiser ship 20 years ago, is not the same experience you're going to have on board a celebrity cruise now.
Right.
If you're looking for that same level of service and experience, you're probably going to find that more on these luxury lines like a Silversea.
And if you can get the pricing close to what you're used to, then that
Yeah,
helps a lot too.
for
But
sure. Yeah.
but you're just going to have to bite the bullet. You are going to be paying more for cruising for that style today, and you're just going to have to choose whether you want that style or and be satisfied if you're not getting that style.
Exactly. So when we talk about Silversea, Larry, and styles and this, that, and the other thing, like entertainment and enrichment programs on board, it's not the same as Celebrity or Royal Caribbean. It's what are folks going to find on board?
I think an example is the Alaska cruise we're getting ready to take. There are going to be two different lecturers. One is a historian, and he tells you all about the history of Alaska, and Alaska is very rich in history. And the other one's a naturalist or a biologist who's going to tell you about the flora, the fauna, the animals, all the geology, all of that sort of thing. The scientific end of the cruise. You're not going to have disco parties. They have some of the best pianists I've ever seen in their lounges. I don't know where they get this talent. I remember a couple Silversea cruises where we had two ladies from Ukraine that played the violin, and they were fabulous. And so this is a style of entertainment you're going to see. You're not going to see production shows.
No, and I can echo that. The pianist on board Silver Shadow in December was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's incredible. Now we did see a Queen tribute on board the Silver Muse last time with their four. This was I don't know how they did this. They had four singers and dancers and five guys in the band, and they did a whole Queen. I mean, they did all the songs of Queen, and it was really well done. I was amazed. I don't know how you do that with such a small staff.
Let's get down to brass tacks, Larry. Who is Silversea for?
Silversea is for the, I would say, basically the retired couple that's probably been there, done that, got the T-shirt. Especially, they've been probably to every island in the Caribbean. They've probably done land tours of Italy. They've been to France. They may have gone to England for a vacation, and now they want to go back and just experience very specific things in those destinations. Maybe not even get off the ship in some places because the excursions are included. They don't have to worry about, well, I scheduled something and I don't really feel like doing that or whatever. So it's, if you want that ambiance relaxation of cruising, again, as you said 20 years ago, that's what Silversea is all about. And it's going to be that kickback type of an experience.
No, exactly. And that was exactly what we were looking for in December. Just like you, we've been everywhere in the Caribbean.
Mhm.
I didn't think there was, although I was surprised. Didn't think there was an island I hadn't been to, but I was actually wrong about that. But we went back to pretty much all the same places. But it was just wonderful to go there and get basically looked after. And the one thing that we didn't talk about is butlers.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own butler.
I know they're fantastic too. I mean, there's the stocked bar. You tell them what you want in the bar, they stock it. If you drink it all, they restock it. You tell them what you want in the mini refrigerator. You don't have to get a bill at the end of the cruise with you had 4 Stellas and 6 Coca-Colas, and your charge is $67. So that's not. I mean, those kinds of things. Stateroom amenities: 2 televisions in the mirrors, a bathroom with a jacuzzi tub and a rain shower, both.
Yeah. And you can't forget my wife's favorite thing, a walk-in closet.
Yeah, the walk-in closet is just incredible, and it's stocked with all kinds of little goodies. The size of the balconies are, I mean, we could just go on and on and on. And as we think of different things, I think I've told you the story about we had another passenger with us, and we were sitting in the Arts Cafe, and he said, like, a glass of water, and the waiter said, "What kind?" And he said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, we have 5 different waters." And I mean, all of that is included. You don't have to worry. And again, you get to experiment, try things that you wouldn't normally try. Try a chocolate cocktail, a martini. Try I don't know what it is, but they'll make it for you and no additional charge.
And the other thing, Larry, that we really enjoyed about it is they're not in your face trying to sell you something.
No, that's why I tell people when they take your picture, the only time your picture is going to be taken is for your key card. That's the last time anybody's going to take your picture on that cruise. So
Yeah.
I find that very refreshing too.
So you mentioned you had 2 TVs in your stateroom?
Yeah, they're embedded in. I'm not sure the Shadow has that.
I don't think so. I think we only have one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. They're embedded in the mirror. When you turn it on, you don't see the television, and then all of a sudden it comes on in the mirror.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. There's one in the sitting area, and then another thing about the sitting area, the table. I don't know if you noticed, but you can have a meal in your cabin. It's the same one they're serving down in the main dining room. They're going to bring it to you course by course with white linen tablecloth, and the table rises in the sitting room to become a dining table. It has a riser on it so that they can convert that to a table.
I'll tell you another little story about the service. I every now and again have night terrors.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the lamps at the side of the bed, right? Well, they're fastened down. Obviously,
Yeah.
they need to be because they can't shift. Well,
Right.
during my night terror, I actually ripped it off its base.
Wow.
And I got up the next morning and felt, oh no, what have I done? So I kind of straightened it up, and it was still kind of attached. I straightened it up, but it was on a bit of an angle, and I was just so embarrassed, right? And we left, and we came back to the room a few hours later. I looked over, and it's straight, and it's completely fixed.
And nobody said a word.
Yeah, and never said a word. The room steward come in, and I kind of pointed to the lamp. He said, "Oh yeah. Well, no, we fixed that."
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. You not only have a butler, you have a room steward.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you have 2 people.
Just for things like that.
Yeah.
And I have all kinds of Silversea stories that just where they have, I call it knocking my socks off. And
Yeah.
that's what I like on a cruise. I like for somebody to knock my socks off because they do something that's totally unexpected.
So you're heading to Alaska?
Yeah, we're going up on the Silver Muse for 7 days. It's a little bit different itinerary. We picked this itinerary because Alaska's getting a little crowded these days with going 6,000 passenger ships. So we're going to some different itineraries. We're going to Valdez, and we're not going to Skagway. We're not going to the big 3 up in Alaska.
All right.
So I'm really looking forward to this. Again, I don't care where we go. If we're on Silversea, I'm fine.
Well, that sounds really interesting. We'll have to have you back to do a review.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Now, Larry, if folks wanted to reach out to you about a possible Silversea cruise, how would they do that?
Yeah, just cruisinviera.com on our webpage, and up in the top, you'll see email us, and it'll have our email address. Just click it, and it'll send us an email, and then and give us your phone number and where you live. Your time zone really helps us because we get inquiries from all over the country. So, and I don't want to be calling people in California at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's the best way to get a hold of us.
Exactly, exactly. Anything else we should talk about Silversea before we wrap up?
I think I would have to say, call your travel advisor, get on board a Silversea ship, and see what we're talking about, and then I think
Yeah,
you'll be convinced. That's the best way to find out about it.
I think that's the best advice. Well, with that, I'm going to just wish you safe and happy travels on your adventure to Alaska, and we'll see you in a couple of months on the next Just the Facts.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Larry Jackson of Cruise Holidays of Viera. If you'd like to reach Larry, I will leave his contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach us with a question or a suggestion for a future interview, you can send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com, visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or simply leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this content, a like, subscribe, share, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps us to spread the word. So until next time, happy travels.